Aberdeenshire, Scotland. Trump purchased 1,800 acres of land in Aberdeenshire, Scotland around 2005 and developed the property himself. It opened in 2012 to vehement protests by locals. Trump built his golf course on environmentally protected sand dunes after promising to invest anywhere from $1 billion to $2 billion and create 6,000 to 7,000 jobs as part of a golf and tourism mecca. Trump's organization says he has spent as much as $140 million on the project. The Washington Post reported that Trump probably spent much less, about $12.6 million to buy the property and at least another $50 million to develop it, just a small fraction of what he originally promised. Only about 93 jobs have been created. His manager at the golf course told the BBC last year that including caddies would lift the payroll to 150 people. A 450-bed hotel and 1,500 luxury homes that Trump promised never materialized either. It remains a shadow of the project Trump originally said he would deliver. Clashes with locals. Trump has repeatedly tried to evict local residents with homes adjacent to his course. Trump had already scored a coup when he won the right to build the course and could have furthered his goals by simply making nice with his new neighbors. But he kept after the residents, much the same as he did decades ago in Atlantic City, New Jersey, to oust a woman whose boarding house stood near one of his casinos. The Milne family, who live on a pocket of land inside the course which they refuse to sell, have spent years battling Trump, whose staff have threatened them with legal action. When Trump visited Scotland during the 2016 presidential campaign, David Milne hoisted Mexican flags on his property in what Milne described as a show of solidarity with the Mexican people and everyone else that Trump has derided, insulted, and intimidated. To some extent, I'm worried about his visit. He's a blatantly racist, sexist, misogynist idiot, said David Milne. We would be far happier without him being here. 51-year-old Milne has long been an enemy of Trump, adding that U.S. political opponents have seen that he's unacceptable, someone who has been pulled out of the Dark Ages, basically a prehistoric Neanderthal. In 2016, the New York Times reported that Trump's staff had built a fence along the border between their properties and sent Milne a bill, an apparent echo of Trump's strategy for a border wall with Mexico. Milne threw the bill in the trash. Before the golf course was even completed, Trump jumped into a series of pointless brawls with the locals. Most notably, Trump tried to buy out a fisherman, Michael Forbes, who declined the offer. Forbes, who lives adjacent to the golf course, rejected offers from Trump to sell his land. He painted the words, "No golf course," in large letters on a shed in a show of defiance. Trump said Forbes was residing in a pigsty that marred views from his course, so he cut off the water supply to Forbes and his extended family to compel them to move. Most Scots, who haven't forgotten centuries of land expropriation by hereditary aristocrats, inevitably took Forbes and his neighbors' sides. Forbes remembers Trump strolling up onto his land, flanked by half a dozen bodyguards. The first thing he says is, "What's this land worth, $25 an acre?" I said, "In your fucking dreams." I sussed him out in 10 seconds, the defiant Forbes continued. He was an asshole. The only regret I have is I didn't drop him on his ass when I met him. This enraged the famously thin-skinned businessman, who then trashed Forbes in front of every camera he could find. He called Forbes' land disgusting, later saying he lives in a pig-like atmosphere. He also tried getting the Scottish government to seize Forbes' land, something the farmer laughs about to this day. Trump has earned few Lewis Islanders' words of support. Most of the locals said his values and character are the antithesis of their culture. He doesn't behave like somebody from the Hebrides would behave. He's like a spoiled child who should have had his bum smacked when he was young, said Don John McSween, a community developer. During the 20th century, English became the lingua franca on Lewis. but it's one of the few places in Scotland where Gaelic is still widely spoken. So the islanders were asked to describe the American president in their mother tongue. Dawain Anasak, MacGyver said, which translates to a strange man or eccentric. MacGyver felt his pomposity could best be captured by the term Gaotha, which basically means a windbag, he said.